Hi, my name is Will Gibb, and this is Uncommon.
Uncommon is a production focused on the why of business, media, and marketing. It's made by my team at Neuralle, a digital agency for challenger brands and talent. To learn more, just visit neuralle.com. That's neuralle.com. All right, my guest this week, William Gibb, Giblet. I used to call you Will Gibbs for a long time.
I actually found,
it was in the contract, which was
Have
hilarious.
we started?
Yeah, we started.
I'll see.
Obviously, comedian. If you're watching this and you don't know who Will is, you're a fucking idiot.
Or you're ingesting better comedy.
Maybe.
So can I ask a question? The Will Gibbs thing, if you kept the Gibbs and like we had a contract dispute, could I legally get out of it because that's not my name?
Don't know. You'd have to ask lawyers. Probably.
Interesting. Okay. Well, maybe my name's not Will Gibb.
The first thing I wanted to ask you starting off was, are you a bigger cinema fan or a football fan?
Oh, that's a really good question. And I'm looking at my two friends here who are giving me facial prompts.
Yeah, right.
That's
the guy from Paper Planes.
I would say I'm a bigger cinema fan only because of where I live geographically. I think if I was in England, then I would be more a fan of football because I could go to more games and watch more games, and there's more football than there are movies. Yeah. But when a movie comes out or a movie is coming out, like I get so excited, whereas I'm not as excited for an upcoming football match.
Yeah, right.
Like certain football events get me really excited, but you know, the actual movie, like that is like the best thing ever.
What's
I think.
The geography got to do with it though? Is it just the people you're around?
No, because I have to wake up at 4 in the morning to watch millionaires kick a rubber ball around for an hour and a half.
And why football or soccer, as we call it, versus say NRL or AFL or anything like that?
The players are hotter.
Okay,
like they're better looking. The sport is way more intense because there's less goals. People always think like, oh, football's bad because they score less than compared to rugby and basketball. But my point is it's better because there's less goals. So when there is a goal, it's a way bigger deal.
Yeah, right.
You celebrate like crazy because that might be the only goal of the match. Whereas a try or a basketball point, you're like, I know there's going to be way more. Yeah. You can tell from the crowd when a basketball shot goes in, the crowd's like...
Yeah, I get that. So you like intensity.
I just like the passion, like the love and the fact that like the fans spend like, I think there was like a fact, it was like the average UK salary is however much, it's like, 300 quid a week, 400 quid a week or something. And they would spend like 250 of that on football,
Per week or per year?
Per week.
No.
Yeah.
Surely not.
Yeah, if you get like a ticket to the match, that's like 30 quid, all the beers that you have to drink before, travel, like all that stuff. There's like some crazy weird stat.
Christ.
I'm using random numbers, but it was something like half their paycheck goes to football.
Yeah, right.
Like the big fans.
Did you play as a kid growing up?
Yeah, I was almost pro.
Is this true, guys?
No.
Yeah. I almost went professional. So I went over to the UK when I was in year 11 and I trialed at Chelsea. I trialed at Manchester City and I trialed at Manchester United as well.
What position were you playing?
I was playing a central defensive midfielder. So I'd be I'd be doing all the running.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually trialing, but I went there because my mum paid for me to go over. And we went on a tour, a school tour.
Yeah, right.
So we got to kick the ball around with the players and stuff.
Let's see.
It was really fun. It was really cool. Yeah.
It's for me, like I don't know. I was just saying to Lauren the other night, I fucking hated AFL. I remember as a kid, like 60 do Oz kick, which is like the the thing where they introduce, I'd be sitting in the middle of the oval, like picking the grass because I was so fucking bored.
You would be that kid.
And then I started playing soccer. I fucking loved it. And we just had random people in the family who got really, really into it. But we recently had a cousin of ours. Well, it's a second cousin technically, so it's a cousin's kid. He just went and trialled at Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea. He's only 12 as well.
Michaelides?
No. It's on my mum's side of the family, which their last name is Rich. Which is the most Irish last name.
Oh, just Rich.
Just Rich.
Oh, okay, right. I was expecting like a Gorgonzola or something.
I've actually forgotten. It's not, because that's her maiden name. So she married with this British guy.
Right,
and
yeah.
he was always really into soccer. And the son, he's really fucking good. Really,
Better
really
go
good.
pro.
So yeah, they were there for 6 months, and it's hard, man. When you particularly, you need so much money for this shit.
Yeah, it's like tennis. Have you seen King Richard, the movie?
Yeah.
So
No, I haven't actually. I've seen the trailer.
what? Oh, well, you got the gist. They grow up and they get good.
Yeah.
But
But there's money required.
Oh yeah, big money, and that's why it's pretty crazy that they made it how they did. Good old Will Smith hitting them balls in the middle of the night, pouring rain. Go Serena, go Venus. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So Matt, his dad, basically sacrificed like good 2 months of work. Went over with him. Like they'd be up at 4:30 every morning. He'd travel, take him to because they were just staying in some place in London. Take him to the pitch, go through training, help him do recovery, all that. So he's like 12 or 13, man. This dad has like given up 2 months of work to do this.
And then the kid fails and doesn't get it, and the dad resents him, and then it's just no. Good luck to Rich.
Yeah, good luck to Rich.
Yeah.
His fucking name is Rich. When we did the last interview, we were asking people about like stuff they, I guess, hold from their childhood, like any memories or lessons or anything like that. I've now met your dad, at least over the phone. He's quite the character.
Yeah.
What seems like the most fundamental thing that him or your mum have taught you about life?
Probably money is the most important thing in the world. That if you're not making money, you're not successful.
Yeah, right. Do they believe that?
Yes, that's their belief.
Really?
Which that's probably honestly what they ingrained into me from a young age.
So they're proper boomers.
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I think like not much. Like, I don't think they really taught me. The thing that I was always taught mainly was just like you just got to respect people that are in authoritative position. I think I know that sounds like quite submissive and bad, but like you just got to be respectful to everyone that you meet. I guess I don't like to like. I hate being the sort of person that will like walk into a room and think like, oh, because even if I completely hate the person and like I think they're terrible, you've still got to like make them think that you're interested in them, even if it's a fake thing. I don't know why. Which sounds very two-faced and awful.
But it's interesting because when you look at the stories from like your home life, both your parents are like the type that are very, like when we talk about you being cynical, clearly you get it from, like, they almost both have it, right?
Mum gives that to me. Yeah, dad's actually an outrageously positive guy. He's just money is the number one thing.
No, but like I'll see stories of your parents and your dad will be doing something and he'll be like, bullshit.
Oh yeah. Well, he just gets so flustered.
But then you're saying that like in like there's this almost public private face that you guys got going on.
Well, okay, here's what I've gotten from dad. My thing from dad is I've gotten like a sense of like stress and like and like needing for things to happen the way they do. That's what I've taken from dad. Right. And that I need to make money. That's from dad. Mum I've taken, which is awful because it clashes. Mum's given me who gives a shit about anything. Like life is life. Spend all your money. And also if something is shit, you got to tell the person that it's shit.
Okay.
Like mum had a banana smoothie the other day and this was like a complete, she went on about it for so long about this banana smoothie. But you know what? Make the fucking banana smoothie good and then we wouldn't have the problem, I think. I'm on mum's side with that stuff.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. I haven't learned great lessons from my parents, but I think I still think like I am who I am because of them. Yeah, you know, and
you're not a drug addict, so no. I guess.
And I think a good one as well is actually I've learned that like you're never like this sounds awful, but like I'm never good in the sense that it's like if I do something good, my dad's like, well, what's next? And I think that's nice because he never lets me feel like I've made it. Yeah, which I haven't, and that's a good feeling to have, I think, because as soon as you feel like
I've told your dad some of the numbers of the things that you're doing and he's like, oh, right, okay, but there's still clearly like a healthy skepticism there.
Yeah, there always
make
will
sense?
be. But I need that because if dad lets off on me like that, then I'll think like, oh, well, then I'm done, and then I'll never grow or anything like that.
Yeah,
So
my
I think it's
parents are
good.
very similar in this regard.
Yeah.
Makes sense why we are quite similar. But I always attribute it to being like a WOG thing. Like very like in person, in public, you're all okay and professional and all that sort of stuff. But at the moment it's like behind closed doors, it's like everyone's cynical and
Yeah.
why like Cocker Spaniels? Are they Cocker Spaniels?
Yeah.
So is this like, because you guys are really obsessed with your dogs?
Well, okay. I'm not.
You sure?
I'm not. But
sure?
my dad is like to the most. My dad doesn't discipline my dogs. Like he will feed them half his lunch when he doesn't finish it. Mum will be like, "Don't feed the dogs. And he's like, "Okay." And she's like, "No, like do not give the dogs food. Like they cannot eat like they are fat." And then he'll give them half his burger. Yeah. He's like, "Sorry," like as if like he's been busted. Well, you did. Yeah, the most dad thing to do. So, I don't know why Cocker Spaniels. It's just a family thing. Like we used to have, there used to be like 7 Cocker Spaniels. My grandma and grandpa used to own 7 cockers, and they were all named after the hobbits in Lord of the Rings. So there was like Merry, Pippin, Frodo, Samwell.
No way.
Yeah, there was 7 of them.
Yeah, right.
And they were all Lord of the Rings, hobbits, and then it was just a bizarre like.
And then you bring them down to like Hobbiton down in Barrel.
Yeah, and they just run free. They'd be like these little like sort of warrior dogs. I think they're cute. I would never own one. They're not my sort of dog.
Yeah, right.
But I think they're cute.
Yeah, you really like the popcorn looking
Irish Wolfhounds.
No, I was just teasing you. The every time I'm with you and you see those anything oodle, you crack the shits.
Well, I just think they should be run over. Like I don't know. Like it's just the most. Like they are the worst animals. They're disgusting.
They're so innocent looking.
No, and they get that like brown shit around their mouth and their paws, and they always got wet whiskers, like wet mouths, and they all have the same personality. They're not interesting, and they're always called Molly, or you know what I mean. It's just like like no one wants. No, it's just not an interesting dog at all. Oh, it likes the ball. Oh, cool. Let me put that on the wall. The cavoodle likes the ball. How amazing.
So what? So Irish Wolfhounds?
Yeah. Mythical. They're mythical. They're not from this earth. And if you look at one in the eyes, have you seen Indiana Jones 4?
Is that with
Crystal Skull?
Is Kate that the Blanchett. One? No, but who's the young
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, and when Kate Blanchett at the end of the film looks into the alien's eyes, her head explodes because she learns all the knowledge of the world, and that's what happens if you look at an Irish Wolfhound for too long.
It's funny, we're looking at dogs at the moment, and we've committed a lot of our money to holidays recently, and we're like, oh, could we get a cool dog like on the cheap? Anyway, we found like, you know, you look at the adoption things and they're often basically mixes and mutts and stuff like that.
They're sweet. And I like them.
We found a what was it? It was an Irish Wolfhound with a Whippet. It was fucking cool. And his name was Mustard.
His 2 favourite dogs.
Yeah, right.
That is his 2 favourite dogs.
Because my parents have got a Whippet.
Oh yeah, and you said it's treated like a child, like an actual, like a child.
They basically will. My parents will probably leave all their assets to that dog.
Yeah, Jordan. It's Jordan's least favourite dog.
It's not my least favourite dog. It's just
his like Jordan.
Right. The Jordan Duluth.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's his least favourite animal. An Irish Wolfhound Whippet is.
It was really cool. It was like a wiry Whippet with it sort of had like a beardiness that you get from the Wolfhound.
That is Ed's dream dog.
Yeah. Wolfhounds are they Irish dogs or are they like this Aussie mix? I've not looked them up.
They're Irish. They come from the deerhound, the Scottish deerhound, and an Irish man. And that's created a beast. And there, they created that.
One of the things we had during Mardi Gras was quite an interesting observation. And it's something that people make as an observation about you. Okay, so you're obviously you're gay.
Yeah.
And not many people, when they first see your content, are aware of it.
Yeah.
and you and I both said that you're not an overtly gay man. And I'm curious, obviously you weren't aware, it seems like you weren't aware you were actually gay until you were roughly 17.
Yeah.
What was that like with high school and uni and all that, when like you're not, you didn't have a very camp personality. Like there's clearly guys that you grew up with and like, okay, that guy's, everything about that guy fundamentally, like he's clearly gay, whether he's admitted it or not, or he's comfortable saying it to people or not, Whereas with the thing with Mardi Gras, we were saying like they just TikTok, right?
Yeah.
They pretty much ignored you because they're like, oh, he doesn't have purple hair and he doesn't speak with a lisp and all the fundamentally stereotypically gay things, right? So I was just curious for you in that early stage of coming out, what was that like when you weren't overtly gay?
Well, yeah, I was just confused. I remember like I would try and get with girls at a party and then I could never kiss them because I just didn't try it. Well, like it was on clearly, but like because I wasn't into it, I just didn't pick up on it. So I would always like want to kiss a girl and then I never did. And then I'd go home and furiously wank to like gay porn. Like madly wanking to gay porn, like annihilating myself to it.
But you say that you weren't aware then?
No, well, it was halfway through an annihilating sort of brutal wank that I sort of took a step and I was like, am I gay? Like, what am I doing? Like, because I justified it by being, well, I wanted to kiss the girl tonight, so it wasn't gay that I am wanking to this now. But yeah, as we learned recently, that companies and TikTok and all of them have no respect for anyone that's not, their stereotypical categorization of what gay should be.
Yeah.
And I'm a completely invalid human being because of who I am. And we learned that the hard way. And I'm now in therapy and we're still going through all that. But it was that was a shit thing, I think.
Yeah.
That was annoying. Like, I think we were both pretty annoyed.
Very frustrated.
Yeah. But I looked at it and I was like, fuck, that looks gay as shit. Like, that looks so gay. I don't want to go. Yeah, but no, of course I wanted to, obviously. It would have been amazing. Because I want to tap into it more. Like, as I said, like, I'm not extremely overtly gay, but it doesn't mean that I don't love, going to, like, I went to a gay bar the other week and it was amazing and I had so much fun just like getting in touch with that and getting into Drag Race. I love it and I cry like every episode if I watch it by myself because I feel the stories and all that stuff. So like there is that side of me that wants it and obviously I want to get involved there, but it's just so clear that the people in power and people in the community just don't value you if you don't wear it on your sleeve 24/7.
Yeah, and I remember having this conversation with Tim Abbott about it and I wonder as well, because that was like all the fashion over the last 7 years. It's like, I'm an ally and like if they're gay, they have to be, they have to have rainbow hair.
Yeah.
And all these sorts of things. And he was saying to me like, you don't want to be defined by it anymore. Like you're gay. Like it is what it is. You don't, like you said, you don't have to wear it on your sleeve and let it define you as an individual.
I think it was good because here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on it. I think it was great. Like then, I think it still is great, like that people want to wear it on their sleeve and people want to be, out and proud. And I think everyone should be who they are. And I think the problem is when this is who I am, it just does, and I don't get the same recognition because I'm not all the way there. And I'll never get there because that's not who I am. So it sucks that like my destination feels like, oh, you're only a quarter of the way there. Where it's like, I'm 100% of the way there. Like, well, not, I'm 23. I'm obviously not 100% of the way there. But, I'm where I feel like I should be now.
Yeah.
So I just think like, I think it's important that everyone can just be who they want to be. But I would love to see like a bit more of my representation in there. Maybe there is more. Maybe it's just that they're all still closeted or, they come out their own time and stuff like that. But I get what they're going for, but it's just not as diverse as I think they think.
No, I don't think it is. And you and Tim have both said this where like for you, the thing you want in life is a husband, white picket fence,
kids,
2 dogs, 2 kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I want it.
And like
adopted from different countries.
People assume even though now when you're gay, you can get married, right? Only recently.
Yeah.
But people just go, oh, well, if you're gay, you're at Mardi Gras and you're dancing on a.
Well, that was the first thing my mum said when I came out. She was like, "Oh, what? So you're going to be doing drugs every weekend and going out?" And I was like, "Fuck me."
Jesus.
Yeah, but that was when they were sort of still taking it in. So
Yeah,
like,
right.
you know,
How was their reaction?
they would. Oh, you know, I've got a whole stand-up bit about it at my show, Live and Dumb. You know, it's all sold out. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's still some tickets if you want to come. Anyway, they were like shocked at first.
Yeah, right.
And then they're fine. They love it now. Love it. They're waiting for a boyfriend. They want one. They want a grand kid. I don't know how it's going to happen, but they want one.
So what were they shocked about? That you were gay, or
that I was a sinning little freak? No, that I was gay. Yeah, they were just shocked by it.
Yeah, right.
I think, which was, I mean, I'm like, Mum, I've never had a girlfriend. I've never brought a girl home. Like, what is so shocking?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What's so shocking about this?
Was it a hard conversation?
Not really, because it was the night before I left for college, and I literally just went, "Oh, fun fact," and Mum was like, "Oh yeah, fun fact, Clovelly was really nice today," and I was like, "Oh, actually, fun fact, I'm gay. Anyway, I've got to go pack," and I went and packed, and I just went to college.
So you just drop that bomb on her, and then you just walk off.
Yeah, and then I went to college and didn't see them for like a couple months, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, which was fine. College was the best for it. Everyone was so accepting. Like that was, because that's a narrative that I find interesting. Like an all boys college, everyone's going to think that, you know, I'm going to be ridiculed, but they were like, everyone was so, that's where I felt the most accepted. I've never felt more accepted.
Yeah, right.
From those sorts of people, like you just wouldn't expect it.
How early on did your mates know?
I told everyone. As soon as I told my parents, I think day one of college, I was telling people because I just felt like I owed it to my parents before I really told everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh, that's sick," and they wanted to know all these questions. And I think I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like the more people are interested in it, it shows that they're more comfortable. And
yeah. There's no doubt, like the openness of generations increases without a doubt. I remember there was like a period of time I went to. Man, it's so weird to think about this in hindsight, but this was like legit how people thought. I was going to all boys school, and this friend's mum used to tease us that like there was two boys caught hooking up in like a what is it, like a, not the urinal, the, you know, where you lock the door on cubicle, right?
Yeah.
And like back then you're just like, oh no, I don't want to be like that, and it would just not happen today.
Yeah.
Just people would not have that conversation.
Yeah, it was weird. When a kid who was in my year, I was good friends with him, he came out as gay, and I sort of knew at that point that I was as well. But when he came out, I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, this guy's gay. Like, that is fucked. I was like, I swear I am. I was like, no, I'm not. That's fucked that he is, though. Like, it was weird. Yeah, it was a whole bizarre thing.
There was a period of time where there was like all these big comings out. Like there was a guy at Melbourne Grammar here in Melbourne. There was like a big thing about it. I can't remember why that was. Maybe he was some sort of activist or something like that. But anyway, it is what it is. So let's jump to comedy for a sec. I didn't get to ask you in the last interview around the craft and how you view it. And I'm just curious, like, first of all, who were the comedians? Let's talk pure stand-ups first, and then maybe we can talk about like writers or directors or actors within film and TV. Not Ed.
Yeah, Ed Luxembourg.
Who in those two different mediums? Who are the people that you really, really love when it comes to comedy?
I don't watch much comedy.
Yeah, you watch a lot of like drama and
horrors and stuff.
Yeah.
But like for me, I think like comedy. People, okay, my number one is Steen Raskopoulos because he taught me. So when I was in year 7, he taught me comedy, and he's like, I will always think that he's the reason why like I've been able to pursue comedy for a career because he just threw me into the deep end in year 7. Like he saw something in me in year 7 and just like really like helped me harness everything. And he was incredible. Like I remember like one of the first drama lessons, like I was like, it was like my 5th or 6th week in drama, and he like came to the year 7 because they were split into year groups at the time, and he was like, "Oh, Will, can you come with me?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" Like Steen teaches like the big kids, and he like brought me in. So I was 12, and then he was like, "Oh, you're gonna be with the year 12s now." So I was doing comedy with like 17, 18-year-olds and I was 12.
At school?
At Scott's, yeah. Like I was put in the senior group.
Really?
Yeah. So I was doing that. And obviously they were all way better than I was because they'd been doing it for like 6 years. So like doing it with the older kids made me, I don't know, I just felt like I was getting on their wavelength and, you know, and then I started doing it. They would graduate and then now I'm in year 8 and, you know, it was kind of like that. So Steen, great. And I go to all his shows. I've seen all of his shows. Like he's just fantastic. And I'm not really too sure, like, otherwise it's mainly local people. Like, yeah, I don't have too many big inspirations. Auntie Donna's a big one. They were great. They are great. They were great.
They were great. Yeah. Sorry guys.
Yeah. No. They're
Sorry,
fantastic. And
so you never had like you've never really watched like Eddie Murphy's Raw or anything like that and gone like, that's my shit?
Not really. Just because, like I like comedy movies. Hot Rod was, have you seen Hot Rod? Andy Sandler. Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg. Yeah.
Andy Samberg in Hot Rod.
Okay.
The only good thing he's ever done. What else has he done? Oh yeah, Lonely Island
is probably
one.
The best thing.
Yeah, Lonely Island's fantastic. Andy Samberg in Hot Rod. I love. I like Bill Hader and Fred Armisen when they're doing sketches together, but nothing else ever.
So only sketches, not movies. I love Bill Hader in movies.
Yeah, I like Barry, but that's like a drama.
Yeah, because I don't know. Whenever they do sketches, I just think of SNL, and I can't stand SNL. It's not my shit.
I think there's some really funny sketches that there's SNL. Ari Aster is a horror director, but he is so funny. His comedy is the best.
You're right. Can I just say, you liking Hot Rod, the movie with Andy Samberg, it's got like 39% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's a cult classic. Napoleon Dynamite's a great comedy. Like, I just like the weirdly, like, I don't know, like I don't like, I like This Is the End actually. That's my probably most basic hilarious comedy.
Yeah. I think, that is amazing just because of the amount of people they managed to get into it.
Yeah, and it's just silly and fun and, you know, like I think it's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have like big comedic, I don't like watching it. I just don't think it's very...
Yeah, you've always said that.
I like seeing comedy in a film that isn't a comedy because you're like, oh, this is great because it feels raw. Like when you see someone trying to be funny all the time, it's like, oof.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it's almost like there's a bit of cringe in it for you.
Yeah. I like seeing things that are like, oh, that's funny because it's so fucked up. Like I've got this weird look on comedy, right? Where like if I woke up one day and I had a headache, I'd be like, this sucks. This is so annoying. I have a headache. And then if I smacked my head on the shower as I get in, I'm like, fuck, I already had a headache and now I've smacked my head on the shower. This is so bad. Then if I'm walking out of the shower and I slip over and I hit my head again, I'm like, oh my God, like I need to go to the hospital. This is so painful. This is so bad. And then I get a call and it's like, your grandma just died. I think that call is now hilarious because there's been so many funny, like so many awful things that have happened. Eventually it becomes funny.
Yeah, right.
A comedy of disasters, I think.
It's like dark humor.
Yeah, I just think yeah.
So did you ever like black books or anything like that growing up?
Mm-mm. I never watched. I liked one episode. I remember one scene from it. I think there's like a cleaner comes in and he's like, even the air is dirty, and he goes like that.
Yeah, right.
That was funny. If I watched it now, I'd probably kill myself. But no, I'm joking.
If you jump back to Arnie Donna, were there any other skit comics that you watched? Because that's clearly your thing, at least in the medium of social, right?
Yeah. Like
your stand-up is not skit comedy. It's you talking to an audience.
Yeah.
With some impressions. That's actually one of the things that you remix pretty well is like putting in the impressions within it. I quite like. But like, is there anyone other than Auntie Donna that you watched early on where you thought like, oh, this is cool?
The Bear Pack, but that's Steen again. It's another guy. Like they just do like improv stuff. No, I don't know. Like, yeah. No. Tim Robinson. Recently, this guy called Tim Robinson, and he does this show on Netflix called I Think You Should Leave.
Right.
Those are all like 10 out of 10, like the best.
Because when I think about it, when you were growing up, skit comedy really And this is, I guess, why Auntie Donna did so well, because skit comedy had just not been as prominent as it was in the 5 or 7 years prior. So, there were shows like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like Skit House was massive for me as a teenager growing up. It was a huge, huge show. You had Full Frontal. That was sort of more for kids who grew up in the 80s, but there were big Australian shows, skit shows, right? And you'll recognize, it would all be the usual stuff. Like you'd see like a Dave Hughes or someone in that show, and then you see that, and then Comedy Fest came along and you go see them live.
Yeah.
But then there was nothing for 7 or 8 years or something like that. And then you started sort of seeing skits come back on YouTube. And that's where you got sort of Auntie Donna being the big push of that, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like that recent wave, they've definitely been
it's just interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. I prefer sketch comedy, but I like doing stand-up. I want to do maybe some sketch on stage. I don't feel very creatively rewarded from TikTok because it just feels a little bit like, not cheap, but it feels like half of what a sketch is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or I don't think that's fair to say. I just think it's like a different type, you know?
TV and streaming is where you can really get into sketch comedy.
But that's where that's where it is sketch. I just say what I do on TikTok is just like a 45-second character thing.
It's a skit.
Yeah, it's just like a skit thing.
Tiny.
Like it doesn't. Yeah,
like Josh Garlic does really well.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't really say it's like sketchy or any. I'd just say it's like a impression, or I don't really know. But it's like, I'm not saying I still think what I do is funny, but I just don't feel like it's creatively, the most amazing thing in the world. But that might just be the app itself.
Well, your audience thinks otherwise, especially when you get
they're 11
private school boys.
Yeah, true.
Like we're there tonight. I don't know. Are you guys going tonight to the show? Okay, it's going to be interesting.
Those private school boys the other night were great.
Yeah,
I like that. I like them. They're great.
I like it. Your crowd, how you get so many different individuals. You got like private school boys who really don't understand that you're kind of taking the piss out.
Yeah,
of them.
they think I'm taking the piss. They think what I'm saying is actually what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I'm like, let's bash chicks, they're like, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, we actually should go and do that.
So they're saying very meta about it. Like, so you got those guys, right? And then you also have like, I don't know, a 16-year-old with their parents or something like that. And then you've got like clearly uni students hanging out and they get the meta-ness of the content. And then you got people like me who are like 30 plus and just find it objectively funny. So it was a very interesting mix going to that show.
Yeah, I think that's just down to my sort of multi-layered TikToks that are just really, you peel, it's like an onion, you just peel it back and there's, so many different ways to interpret these videos.
Jordan can't stand this interview.
Yeah. You got it to really understand my TikToks, you have to watch them 3 times.
15 seconds.
Yeah. You've really got to spend 2 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Really just breaking it down, because there's a lot unsaid.
So much. There's a lot that goes over people's heads.
Oh, all of it.
Particularly anyone with the last name Delu.
Yeah. If you think guy at the movies that's loud is about a guy in the movie that's loud, you're the problem. It's about how we don't listen to each other.
So if you were to make a Franken comedian, I like asking this to all comics.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you combine?
Franken comedian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the best bits of people.
Okay, I would do the brain. God, I'm really sucking his dick. But I'd have to do the brain of Steen Raskopoulos.
Okay.
Because he's so quick-witted. Maybe the wit of Steen Raskopoulos.
Okay.
Because he's so quick-witted and he's so, like, just everything. The stuff he thinks up is amazing. I'd do the... Maybe the energy of Auntie Donna, because they're so, like, I've watched their stage show and they're just 100. The whole, like, the energy is insane.
In sweat.
Yeah. So their energy, because they fully commit to stuff, which you need to do. Maybe like the charm of Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Because he's just, maybe the storytelling ability of Bobby Lee.
I wouldn't say it's charm. He disarms people.
Yeah.
He's very vulnerable.
His ability to tell a story, I think, is the best.
Yeah.
Maybe the dryness of, I love Anne Edmonds.
Okay.
I have to throw a woman in there. I'm a sexist. I like Anne Edmonds. I think she's fantastic.
Yeah. Not Hannah Gadsby.
Not Hannah Gadsby.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Hannah Gadsby judged me at the Class Clowns competition, and yeah,
We won't
she
speak
thought
further
I was
about
bad, and she didn't say hello to me, and she ignored me, and that's fine. She's an anxious person. I get it. Anyway,
So, and there's no one else you'd throw into that mix?
maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah, who? Ed, the acting ability
The guy
of Ed.
from Paper Planes.
Maybe the cynicism of, I don't know. I just don't like comedians.
Yeah, right.
Is that all right? Oh, the zaniness of Dan Rath.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
thank you.
Let's talk about Will Gibb, the brand, and yeah,
Okay.
because you are a brand at the end of the day. When you're an act, you become
Okay,
a brand that's over many different mediums, right?
Wow. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the most recent one being the podcast. When I ask someone about their brand per se, what do you see as like the ultimate, I don't know, like career evolution? Like, let's say we're 5-10 years down the track. What do you see a week or a year looking like for you? Is it having a podcast and touring for a portion of the year and working on this new project that's on XYZ streaming platform? Do you daydream about any of that sort of stuff and think about it at all?
Yeah, all the time. I would say like the goal would be like I'd love to have like some sort of sketch show where it would be like a variety type show. Like I don't see myself as being like not talented enough, but I just don't think my domain is like writing comedy that's like a linear show, like, something that's like episodic and all that. Like I don't think I could do it in that sense. I think like a variety sketch show, and I think you should leave with Tim Robinson. Doing something like that and then keeping the Okay But What If podcast because that's just the best. And I think that actually bleeds in so well with like doing sketch on TV as well.
Yeah. Okay, but what if is a good prompt for a sketch?
Yeah, exactly. And then just always writing like for a live show. And then, you take that maybe once every 3 years or something because you can't tour every year. It's just not a profitable and good idea.
Yeah, right.
There's no need. Like people don't want to see you every year because the audience is going to think, I saw you last year. You finished your tour 3 months ago. Now you're back again. What could have happened in that 3 months that's worth me spending more money on a ticket?
It's a hard one because often with the tour, I think you got to kind of lean into it being a special. Like when you look at the big comics globally, there's often the best ones, in my opinion, they might have like a 2 or 3 years. They'll make a special on top of the tour, so to speak.
Right, yeah.
But I think because of things like Netflix, it's almost made it like an annual thing. Like each year, Dave Chappelle's got a new thought about something.
Yeah, but I just think it's less special. Like if Dave Chappelle puts out a special now, I'm like, I saw it last year and it sucked.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that would be it. I want to be creating stuff for TV. I love all that stuff. I love the podcast and I love being stuff live. But it would be comedy, I think. Because film I love, but I just don't have the talent or the understanding of how to actually make anything like that. Like I'd have to be a backseat to that. If I wrote something, I'd have to give it off and let other people do it because I just don't understand how any of that works.
Yeah, right.
Even though I love watching them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the podcast, maybe I'm a bit biased. I'm very, very excited to see where it goes.
I think it's the best thing that's ever been released ever. If I can be so humble. No, honestly, I think it's the most like creative and original idea. I've never heard of a podcast like it.
It's definitely one of the newest original ideas. Like it's saying that you're saying you'd expect from like an NPR.
What's that?
NPR. Like all the best podcasts come out of like NPR or what is it, New York City Radio or...
Oh, yeah. I don't know that.
It's just like one of those American podcast networks.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Like a show that's a format. It's not just two people talking.
Yeah.
Like this. It's not something boring like this.
Well, Americans, yeah, love them to death. But yeah, I think like, yeah, I don't know. I like what this is. I think it'll be really. I don't think it can't. I don't know. It's going to be successful because how can it not be? I think it's really cool. It's a cool idea. People like it. I hope. Please listen. We're only 17th on the charts. We've already failed.
Before we get into rapid fire questions,
Shit!
I've got to ask
You two can help me with that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they can pick a few, can't they?
Yeah.
What do you like? You've done a few interviews now. Obviously, you've been on ours. I've seen you on others. What do you wish you could talk about for a long time? Like, if you had to pick like a TED talk that couldn't be related to comedy, what would you pick it on? The art of a milkshake. Peanut butter on toast and bacon.
You know what? I was gonna go serious, but I'm gonna go more fun. I think.
Okay.
I'll say my serious one, but I won't go into depth. Actually, I don't want to say it. I'll say it. No, I'll go with the fun one. Okay, my fun one is super tasting is a real thing.
Super tasting.
Yeah, so I'm a fussy eater. So is Jordan. And it's because we can taste more. So, for example, right, I can have a piece of plain Turkish bread, just toasted, toasted Turkish bread, nothing on it, literally plain. The flavors I get, I go, this is actually really nice. There's so much to this. Normal people that aren't fussy would eat that and go, this is just dry and crumbly. I don't taste anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need spreads. I don't need garnishes. I get the flavor from the bread being toasted.
So you reckon your palate is more refined?
Way more refined. And that's why because I'm a fussy eater, onion, for example, something I don't like, it's so powerful and it's so overwhelming for the buds that I don't like it because it's too much.
Maybe this is why he is on the spectrum. Or at least that OCDness. Yeah, I think you've got like a sensory overload in it. Like for some people it's sound, for some people it's visuals.
Taste. It's got to be taste.
It's got to be.
It's got to be because if we're laughing at the fact that people can have, you know, supersonic hearing or people can be way too sensitive to, you know, light. If people can be light's too sore for me, right? If we can go, that's a real thing. Why is it mocking if I go taste is too much for me? Why is that a laughing matter?
Yeah, right. I agree with that.
And that's fucking right to you. So you know what? That is actually my point. That's a point proven. Greatly said. There's people that are sensitive to sound, people that are sensitive to light, people that are sensitive to taste. And I'm one of those people. Yeah, all of them.
Shoot me.
Yeah.
So, okay, was that your funny pick, was it?
Yeah.
What was the serious pick?
I think the serious pick was that people don't care about social issues. Most people don't care about social issues at all, and they use it to push their own personal identity forward.
Yeah,
that's just how I feel about most people. I think there are people that obviously care, and they're the people that go, you know, and try and donate or whatever. But I think most people who like share stuff on Instagram and stuff, I just feel like a lot of it is like social currency. Like I feel like
capital. It's value, you know, to say that I am like this way.
It's a cynical way to view it, but I really do think like, there is a social currency that comes with sharing a post about a kid that swallowed a face mask or, you know, something like that. Or the fact that, you know,
kid, you mean like a dolphin or
something like that, where it's like, I know, like you're sharing this so people think, oh, they're well informed. They're on the right side of this argument. It's not like I want to share this because I really believe this. Obviously, some people feel that, but I think a lot of people are like, oh, my turn to do this.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very cynical of that stuff because I think, a lot of people use it just for social validation.
Yeah, and that's why,
It's hard to discern between who is and who isn't.
And that's a lot of people. As a gay man, I feel like there's a lot of people that put themselves in the LGBT community where I'm sort of like, all right. Great. How fortunate for you. Now you can say whatever you want about topics. You can jump in. So there we go. There's my two. I'm just a comedian. Everything I say is not worth nothing. So please don't read into that. But
all right. Rapid fire questions. Let's pick a few. These guys can pick it, all right?
Yeah.
So here's what I got from him. I got morning and evening routine, what's in the fridge at home, food and drink of choice, best purchase under $200, Podcast, doco, or movie that everyone has to watch.
Well,
Billboard.
Ed used to live with me, so does he want to say what's in the fridge?
Do you?
If you do rapid fire questions, we can say truth.
Which one do you guys want to pick?
I think what's in the fridge.
What's in the fridge for you? What do you want to pick?
Especially under $200. You're a very material girl.
Okay, cool. Let's go with fridge first. What is like your go-to thing in the fridge?
Okay, I think so M&Ms.
In the fridge?
Yeah.
Okay. I like having my chocolate in the fridge too.
I like most of my chocolate usually in the cupboard.
Yeah, but M&M's is a bit of an old one for me.
M&M's, maybe like chocolate milk, bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be bacon. Like ideally there's bacon.
Yeah.
Sometimes there isn't. Like a cake of sorts, maybe. TV snacks.
I think on your next contract, we need to make sure you get a blood test every week. Yeah, just check, like what's his cholesterol like.
That's it, honestly. Beer. And like in the freezer, there's some vodka.
Okay. What type? Yeah, vodka. What's
Elix.
Elix, yeah.
Absolute Elix.
Absolute vodka.
It goes down
Elix.
way smoother.
Yeah, if anyone's
and the
listening
bottle
and
looks
a gift
nicer.
for him, there you go. What type of cake?
I'm loving the Spotify cake that they gave me. We're still eating it. It's so
You meant-
I
you meant to
fucking
bring
forgot
it.
to bring it. Yeah. Well, I didn't go home. Damn it. Well, I'll bring some to the show tonight. How about that?
Okay, do that.
So delicious.
All right, the last question, Jordan's question. Best purchase under $200.
How much was the Xbox Series S between the two of us? It was more.
No. You can't. It's got to be a total number. It can't be something that's split.
What I have no idea. Best purchase under $200. To be honest, to be totally honest, I actually don't buy a lot of stuff, like stuff. Like I spend money on food and I spend money on drinks and stuff, but I actually don't buy a lot of things if it's not a video game or something. So maybe best purchase under $200. I really could honestly not tell you. I actually don't know. What do you think it would have been?
I have no idea.
Why'd you pick the question? Let's pick another one. We'll pick another one.
What was the breakfast question?
Yeah, one was just morning and evening routine.
Read through all of them again.
Morning and evening routine.
Yep.
Food and drink of choice. The purchase question.
Yep.
Podcast, doco, or movie. And billboard. If you could have it anywhere, where would it be and what would it say?
Okay, movie. I've got one for movie
Okay.
that everyone should watch.
Yeah.
It's called The Nightingale.
Okay.
And it's the most confronting thing I've ever seen. And it's about the colonization of Australia,
You're right.
told through the story of an Irish convict. And I think it should be shown in every school. And I think it should be taught by everyone. I just think it should be a part of the Australian curriculum that everyone should watch it, because it fully opened my eyes to just the extent of everything. I was always like, oh, change the date, or sure, I guess. And now I'm like, fuck, I might almost share a post to boost my social currency about changing the date.
So what was it about? What does it uncover?
Just the brutality. Most films are so and then we pan away when this happens. And this one's like, nah, we're going to show you a baby getting smacked against a wall. And we're going to show you a group of Indigenous Australians getting beheaded. And we're going to show all of it. And we're not going to cut away. And you're going to have to sit and watch it for 2.5 hours. And by the end, you're like, oh my God, can I please go home? And you just walk out. And then, because when we left the cinema, we were in tears. And then there was an Indigenous homeless person outside asking for money, and I was like, fucking hell, nothing has really changed. That was the biggest, because I was like, fuck, that movie was fucked. Oh my God, it's just there's still this complete and utter whatever you call that, marginalization, but it's just evolved into something different.
Yeah, we don't have a great history with Indigenous Australians. I remember when I was because I was always obsessed with Wikipedia. And then
that is the fucking weirdest thing ever.
No, well, because that's the only place for me growing up where you could actually discover and learn about colonial history.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling that was about Tasmania.
It was.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
there was martial law in Tasmania for 80 plus years where any man or woman could just kill an Aboriginal person.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Completely legal.
Yeah, and they do it in the film, and I'm like, what the fuck? And yeah, it was. So I think that weird to end on such a serious note, but I just think it was like really like it fully opened my eyes to it, and like I think that's something like if I am hopefully in a like a position where I can be successful enough to start, a charity or some sort of program, I think it would be great to start like an arts program for like Indigenous people where they can actually like get good funding and make like comedy and all that sort of good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I remember we interviewed Jeff Kennett, former Victorian Premier, and he's got sort of an organisation like that. It's called The Torch. Actually just based down the road on St Kilda Road.
Oh,
it's really interesting. They basically fund arts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I was like, fuck. Like
it's a bit small though. Like it clearly could be bigger. Will, where can people find you on the interwebs?
I was trying to make a joke, but we'll end on a serious note. TikTok, William Gibb.
Yeah. Do you think you will ever change that?
Never, because I'm not egotistical.
Good.
And
definitely not, right?
no.
Yeah.
No, and on Instagram, it's just Will Gibb.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but what if as well? Make sure.
Okay, but what if is on Spotify?
Check it on Spotify.
It's a Spotify original. You can listen for free.
It's the best original out there, I think.
One of the best originals out there, probably one of the best podcasts. It's the most original thing ever. Probably never hear anything like it again. And if you do, it won't be anywhere near as good as what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm in Melbourne, but it's sort of sold out. And by the time this comes out, it'll be over.
By the time this comes out, even if it's next week, people will not be able to get tickets. So sorry, guys.
Sorry, fuck you.
If he tours again, make sure you act quick. So.
Yes.
Ed, Jordan, thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And cut.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode. If you liked it, do subscribe. And of course, like it on YouTube if you're watching as well. We'd really appreciate that. For audio, if you've not already listening on your podcast app, you can search for it on any good app, including Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. For video, if you're not watching, you can search Uncommon Podcast on YouTube. It's the first one that appears every single time. For behind the scenes, do follow us on Instagram and TikTok. It's @uncommon_show. But until next time, thanks for tuning in.